Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Club Rooms, our members-only show, where everyone in the chat are our members on Wires Up TV, and it's great to be back here on a Monday evening. We've got a lot to cover this evening, guys. A lot to cover from the game against the Storm in Hamilton. Plus, go through each position, kind of get a feel before we really get into like a preseason, a season breakdown as such. But tonight's all for our members. It's your time to ask questions, to chat, to share. But anyone that is watching, feel free also to watch along. It's great to have as many people watching. And tomorrow night we'll be back with All You Can Eat, where you can come in and join in. But always feel welcome to join in, guys. On Wise Up TV, we have memberships, a reserve grader where you can join us on a night like this and get your comments heard. And then also our first graders, where we do have a WhatsApp chat where we can communicate a bit more, share a bit more info. We have a fantasy league. We also have member videos coming up soon where members can share their thoughts and views on the game. So a lot to be excited about for the start of the season. Just want to welcome everyone in. Peace, love, and happiness. Kia ora, Wires Up. Whānau, welcome in. Peace. Great to have you back in here this evening. Warriors forever. First man. Yes, sir. And Jazz, as always, great to have you, brother. And thank you as always. Hit those likes. Yes, please, people, hit the likes if you can. My man, 5-star, brother, great to see you tonight. And it's one of our first grade members, and it's great getting to know you, brother, and and everyone that's involved in that. Josh Macklin, what's up, everyone? Let's go. Team Mackie, yes. And welcome in to Tahi. Kia ora, brother Tahi. I know brother Tahi has been big on the super coach this year. Watch out for Tahi, guys. His league is full, so he'll be very happy. But yeah, it's awesome to see. And Dominic, great to have you in here, sir. One of our members, and Tanya, awesome as well. Another of our first grade members. Grateful to have everyone in here this evening, and we'll get to everyone very soon. Where we're going to start, guys, pretty much break down the Storm. We'll go through all of that. Who impressed? Who didn't look quite ready? We're going to talk about the TMM influence at fullback. Is there a potential kind of trinity of halves, should we say, or is that something to dismiss and it's always going to be CNK? We can talk about that. Starting forward pack, did anyone step up that we felt could be a starter? Starting bench, there's a lot to talk about there. RTS and Tane as the wingers, Hazelton to the Wires, we'll break that down later, and anything else that comes to mind. So just quickly, exactly, Warriors Fever, great turnout to the game. I was there, had a great seat with my mate Jim Bob. Shout out 4-Pack Media, 4-Pack Movement. And it was great to be there. We had a great time. The weather was amazing. You can't beat afternoon footy. I mean, I even harken back to the days of NPC, in rugby union, when games of footy were in the afternoon in the sun. You can't beat that type of atmosphere. And it was great. It was a great time. And the boys didn't disappoint. They really kind of stepped it up a gear. Their offense looked to have had added layers to it. Now, guys, I always, with a pinch of salt, it was a Melbourne. Some are saying C team or D team. You play what's in front of you. Yes, that's all you can do. So I respect the boys being clinical and doing a number on them. So they should have. But there were a lot of positives to break down from just a viewing perspective. From what I could see, it was really good overall. 23,000 guys. I got there for the SG ball game quite early, and it wasn't that big. I was thinking, and even quite late into the game, I was looking over to the other side and it wasn't quite full. And then that last minute rush, and then the stand that I was in, I looked back and it was pretty chocker. So 23,000, I think, was pretty much right. And for a preseason game, it tells you a lot about the Warriors' influence and its growing popularity, especially in a place where, Hamilton traditionally probably more rugby, although we have our heartlands here in Hamilton. rugby league, but rugby league is growing leaps and bounds, and you can tell it from the crowd. So, um, um, while I was up chat, I just seen a post on FB saying Rocco isn't too far away from returning, according to Agar. That is great news. 5 star. That's actually really good. Um, Something we'll get to that as well. Remind me later on. Um, but yeah, Raiders Sharks 2000. Yeah, I mean New Zealand's really taking it by storm, for lack of a better word, should we say? They were taking it to the storm and by storm as well. So, um, but yeah, the Chiefs players must have been. Hey, yeah, we don't want to rub it in, do we? But that was an awesome turnout. Guys, just quickly on the game, I thought it was awesome. The tries, the barrage of tries. I thought all the halves. Starting at the back, Tamari had a great game. Did a quite an impressive job. Our wingers, I thought, Tane and RTS were dynamic. Tane with great finishing, speed. He was his own little mini DWZ there in his finishing. But Leatoa, you come inside to the centres. Leatoa was awesome. Yedemir, had his work cut out from him a little bit, but he did quite well in the end. Then our halves, CHT was great. Metcalf kicking game was really solid from both of them. The set plays, they chimed in really well across the board, so the attack looked good. In the front row, I think we have Bunty and Jacko Ford, which probably hints to Jacko being more of a prop utility this year, or we don't know, but they both did a good job. Egan was, spinning it on a dime, doing anything he wanted, pretty much dictating the pace. And then for me, the standout was definitely Aaron Clark. I didn't mention him in my post match instant reaction, but when I looked back at the tape, he's just immense. I think he's going to be good for us, and I think he's going to suit, especially that starting period. When the game is very physical. I think that was. You can see him. He's in a good space physically. I think he'll enjoy that role. New Quarter was pretty good too on the edge. I'm just actually breaking down some of the tape around New Quarter and Metcalf. The line running from New Quarter was top class. Little details bang on. Across the board, and then we had our wave of juniors. Then we had Dimitrik and Leka. We could talk about that as well. Leka was immense. And yeah, just the rest of the afternoon was just really enjoyable. So it was great little day. Team Mackie, that's a great little thought about the Sharks game. That could have been never thought of that, but maybe when we get two New Zealand teams, that will be an emphasis, no doubt. Koscielny was a little bit disciplined. Just quickly on Kos, he moved to the right wing on the second half. Had a good few line breaks actually. Kos couldn't quite finish off some of the plays. I mean, they were difficult, but he was moving around a fair bit as well. So, but yes, they really did struggle to get out there in Mickey, and it was great to see our boys, and again, similar to the Sharks game, but they look consistent in their tackle technique. Everyone was very tight and sharp. Yep, understand it was a second-rate Storm team, but the look of us, just like I said last week against the Sharks, even though there was a really low scoreline, our base level of everything looks good. Yardage wasn't too difficult, though, despite we had Tamari, who's not a natural strong runner, at fullback, and Tane. We were still able to get decent yardage. Again, I think Webby's very good at setting up his structure of how the yardage game works. So those are positives. But yeah, I felt we pinned them down, and the good kicking game put a lot of that pressure on as well. So you bang on there, Mackie. I'm not saying CHT and Lukey to start the team best balance in the halves. They complement each other. Yeah, just quickly. I do feel that sense as well, and I think that Webby might go for that. What I want to highlight, Dominic, with that specifically is CHT, his kicking game, because he's got that left foot kick as well. it actually takes a bit of the pressure off Luke. I don't think Luke's quite ready yet to have the volume kicking that what SJ had in terms of, remember, SJ could kick the air out of the ball. He could really just he could kick 700 meters a game. No doubt Luke could technically kick 700 meters a game, but the variation, the kicks, the kick consistency, the kick quality, I think we saw him kick one out on the full, adding in the layers of, setting up the attack, being the key link man, making decisions. It's nice for him to have a bit of that pressure taken off him by a CHT. That's where I think you take a few plays away from Luke. Let's say, for example, Sean probably gets 70 to 80 touches a game. I'm just making up a number here. And Sean can manage all those fifth tackle options. Let's say we get 40 sets usually. Let's say you get 35 of them fifth tackle. So that's 35 end of set kicks that you need to do. Let's say 30, for example. If we can get 10 of those off of Metcalf, that keeps him down to 20, which I think is a good number. So that's a big advocate. I think CHT advocates as a better partner for Metcalf because he can take that pressure off of Metcalf as opposed to Maide where all the pressure then falls on Metcalf still for majority of the kicking. But we'll get into that, especially with Tamani at fullback, something to think about. But that's where I'm advocating a lot more for Luke. CHT is the better support man in terms of managing the game for Luke, which I kind of come to realization when I started to watch the game live. I was like, okay, I see how this might work. Wow, quickly, just toilet man. The toilet inspector. Look at that squeaky clean duck toilet. Brother, welcome into the family, man. I'm not sure what level you are. Let me know in the chat if you're the reserve grader or first grader. And then I can obviously let you in on the rest of the info that you need. But either way, bro, it's great to have you on the team. But yeah, peace and saying, yeah, first time seeing Aaron Clark. He's a solid player. I don't know what role he is. Peace, he's more of a middle forward, a lock. Yes, he will ball play. I think he'll ball play within the system. Similar to Dylan Walker, but Dylan will be much more expansive when he comes on. Dylan will, I think, really kind of dictate the game, whereas at the moment, Aaron's more of a direct runner, one off the ruck, and that type of thing. So, yeah, so that's definitely what it is. Yeah, everyone welcoming in my man Toilet. T Mackey saying, yeah, another workhorse. You see if the field when Walker comes on. Yeah, it's another different dynamic. And Dominic, thanks, mate. Yeah, that's you can concentrate on the great point. The concentration levels for a half that hasn't had the vast amount of experience. This is his first full year as a 7. And Sean was controlling games after 10, 12 years, so he needs as much support as he can get. TMM has the speed and defensive work to be a fullback. Guess that means CNK in the centers. It's something to it's a really, really interesting talking point, and because it's a different style again. I feel as though TMM opened up the attack much differently to what CNK would be, but it will come and fall back on Webby for sure. Sweet. That's awesome, man. Great to have you in the first grader. Yes, we have a WhatsApp chat. That link is in our community page. So if you go scroll down into the community posts, you'll see the links there. Otherwise, you can email me at wilesuptv@gmail.com and I'll send you the link. But yeah, if not, go to the community post and they'll have a link for the chat, and then I'll let you in and come and join us, bro. That's absolutely awesome. Tanya is saying, I don't think Luke has enough video IQ yet, so he needs a partner with more experience to help him get the boys around the park. Well, that is another argument for TMM. He was still very vocal, TMM. And so I think he plays a big role in that. Again, it kind of, there's an interesting take there. I think something to think about, but having all three of them on the field did make it feel very sharp, and could possibly take a bit of the weight off of Metcalf. Were there any players that you thought stand out during the game? So many to choose from. Yeah, a lot, like I said about Aaron, I thought he was really solid. Um, uh, I thought Leatoa really showed if he can stay consistent and continue to do what he does, I thought he can be great. Tane, I thought was great finishing. He even in yardage stakes, his numbers were pretty good. RTS looks really good in the left wing. I think he's going to have a big year. Me and Ash were actually talking about last year, and big up Ash if he's there. But sorry, last night we are talking about like he could potentially have a tall year. I know that's a big statement, but it's in terms of the idea that he could have a massive yardage year, even from the wing. And yeah, he's just got that. When you watch him live, he's got the footwork, but he's also got the power in his game, the drive that he has through the legs, but also upper body, and he kind of falls forward. At yeah, he's gonna be a handful, I think. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, a lot more. We'll get through our piece a lot more. Um, yeah, a good point, Tans. Only 20 games, so that's fair to say. And it is an easy tie, absolutely. Um, Jesse, I think Luke does have these pretty IQ talent. Been playing him in the past, picking some senior halfbacks brains from. Yeah, and he's been in our system for a long while, and you can see he's quite sharp. I like the speed at which he attacks. I think um, the offense will be very sharp this year in terms of its speed of play. Um, so I think he'll come around. But yeah, I mean, obviously he'll like all young players, they have their ups and downs. Um, Chef's kiss, all right, man, far out. That was a beautiful step. um, okay, guys. So let's just bring up some statistical stuff. Let me just try and share the screen, just to kind of change it up. You don't have to look at my face the whole time. Um, so yeah, 36-10. Possession. Yeah, completion rate wasn't too bad there. 80%. Yeah, obviously you could tell we had a lot more of the ball. Total runs there, 203. And obviously that dwarfs that number of 1303 having 2000. So you can tell we just really outran them, dominated them. 10 line breaks to one. It was a massive performance from us in terms of just total 44 tackle breaks, average set distance just kind of dwarfs that number of theirs. Kick return meters 214. Yep. Play the ball speed. Not a big fan of play the ball speed, but anyway. Total passes, you can see we just got the ball around a lot more. Dummy passes, that's pretty good for 453 receipts. 15 offloads, that was great. And the offloading game was really nice to see. Got a bit more second phase. We have been actually. Yeah, it's usually the team that doesn't have less of the ball. They do kick more. But 493 meters isn't too bad. 140-20 by our man Metcalf. Bombs grubbers. Look at that. It's good tackle efficiency. 21 miss, 7 ineffective, 10 errors. To be expected in preseason as well. Penalties conceded. Yeah, we did get penalized. We were a bit quick off the line a little bit. Ruck infringements and 14 interchanges used. Yeah, nice. But yeah, so that's, guys, a little bit of detail on the stats. I'm just going to quickly come back to some of our thing. Oh man, Bruce, we smashed a third string Storm between, no question. Thank you for the donation, bro. We appreciate you, man. Yeah, thank you very much. Hey, I was thinking, bro, it was the first time we beat the Storm, but I was corrected. I think we beat the Storm in preseason 2022, but it felt like it was the first time we beat the Storm in over 10 years. So I'll take that as a plus. So if you do, I will also, man. I was pretty happy anyway. And actually, to have a game in Hamilton, I was just pumped. The weather was great. It was a great afternoon. But thank you, Bruce, man. We appreciate you, bro, as always. Timeki Iremia Toyava was really good in the centres. Another season in New South Wales Cup. Yeah, he's one that wasn't really earmarked. Well, I hadn't really been following much of the Cup guys last year, but you can tell he's got the gift. He could develop into an offloading center. You could see he's got kind of a long reach. The try that he set up for for RTS, he's actually broke the tackle and kind of kept his body open and offloaded. So there's potential in that boy, yeah, for sure, man. I think he's a definite option. In centers, I know Ash is big on him, and he's played in quite a few. He's kind of a Mr. Fix It, Ash says. So I'm going to be watching him closely this year. But I really like I love what he brought. Um, he making any roll balls? I didn't see any roll balls, and I've actually been watching replays. Everyone's using the foot pretty much, and it's not too bad, you know. It's not, you know. I think if the NRL just keep on it, get everyone to play with the foot, it doesn't slow the game. Like the game's already at a breakneck speed, you know. Like I think a few seconds off with the foot is great, in my opinion. But we all know the NRL; they're not going to stick to it. um, yeah, no penalties, as Tan said. Yeah, we beat the Storm, bro. That's it. It doesn't matter. But I'm pumped for our game against them again in round 4 or 5. I think it's the week before Anzac or 2 weeks before, something like that. So, um, and RTS look good on the wing. Yeah, Kung Fu, kick that like button. Yeah, get your toes out and hit that screen, bro. Now, I appreciate it, guys. 54 of you guys in here. Let's get to 50 likes. That's usually our minimum. And yeah, feel free to join you guys, become a member. Wise Up TV. We're really going to be starting to kick into. We've got Super Coach coming up, and we've got actually Toilet Inspector. If you're free, we've got Super Coach as well. So if you want to add you into that, I think we've got a few spots left. So, um, but yeah. So let me just go over to some individual stats, guys. Pretty cool seeing Lecker 31 tackles, Tane. Yeah, still good run meters. Pardon me, guys. Ali 2 tries, Roger 2 tries, and 2 tries for Tane. That was great. Great to see. And a try for Chanel. Yeah, so like it was a big afternoon. Let me just scroll down over to the run meters, which is all the one I like. So, sorry, I don't know where that thing goes. It always drops out. Apologies, guys. I'm looking for the. Anyway. So Tane 13 for 151, I thought was really good. Yeah, again, he's still very effective in his runs. 2 line breaks, 2 tackle breaks, hit ups. RTS, he didn't have a ton of runs, but look, it's still effective, isn't it? 10 for 104. Leotoa was really good in his carries. He's bumping off the halfbacks a lot. So he had some good runs. Eddie didn't get too much of the ball, and that's to be fair to him. Ed 10 for 118. I think he only played the second half, so credit to Ed for that. Bunty 8 for 77. 80 getting a little bit more running, which was great. Jacko with 9 for 101. Dimitri and 10 for 98. Yeah. I mean, and these aren't full proper rotation minutes yet, so it kind of yeah, something to think about. Tamita 14 for 130 isn't too bad out the back and from the fullback position. So if you did go that route, it kind of does. You could feel confident a little bit about it. Marata 10 for 101. Lecker had 7 runs, 86, and he came on, had some strong runs. Tom Ali was another one, actually, piece. If you're there, was one that stood out to me. Tom can be, he might be a genuine shout for a back row option. Had some nice lines and some nice running, Tom. And I suppose with his development experience, you know, you could see him as something like that. So Luke Hansen, 7 for 92 in such a short period there. But yeah, apart from that, it was yeah, pretty good outing by everyone. Obviously, with a dominant team, but yeah, a good day out on the park. for sure. Um, let's just quickly look at some more comments, guys. Yeah, Wars v Storms, April 13th. That's I'm going to Melbourne for that game. Have to see. Oh, geez, that's cool, man. Go to do a bit of a musical weekend. Go hit the theater and then hit the Warriors. I like it. You have to go see a bit of AFL, man. I know we kind of arch rivals AFL, but it's not bad. It's not bad when you're watching it live, to be honest. Um, He's saying the team on the first half was on point. I would like to see that lineup for Vegas. Do coaches adjust the team based on opponent's lineup? Um, Webby, I think, is mainly he focuses on the best lineup. Let me just stop sharing that actually. And yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. I personally would love to be a bit more adaptable, but um, I think in rugby league you just pick your best 17. But in some cases, if you have a matchup that you want specific, support, and maybe you do change it up. But I think it's pretty much stay as it is. Um, we'll do a nice, Mr. Inspector. Very cool. Tanya's saying very clever to put Tane on the wing. That right side connected well. It's obviously Webby knows Tane's too important to leave. Me and Ash had a good talk about it last night, and it's the fact that Tane is a footy player. He's a footy player, and I always go back. It's better to have footy players on the field than athletes. And Tane just understands the role. He knows how to use. I always say he knows how to use his body and size, his speed, body placement, timing of his run, like all those timing on passes from Leatoa to him, all on point. He timed it like just as good as Dallin. Well, in a different way, but he was on point at full speed when the ball was there and got to him, so he could get over the line quickly. So I do think he's in that team and going to Vegas, in my opinion. I really hope the respected bro RTS can get one handed ball holding dive overs in the corner of this. Yeah. Yeah, just me and Ash were actually talking about that as well, Jazz, where he went over with two hands, the old rugby style. Back in the day, the old John Kerr. What was it? You guys in the chat will know. Who was the winger? Or Goldilocks? Jeff. What's his name? Yeah. Anyway, and he went over for the two handed, and then Gregan knocked it out of his. But that's why, yeah, you got to have the one handed finish. Jeff Wilson, my bad. You got to have the one handed finish. You have to, So definitely something he needs to work on. Handsome, impressive. Yeah, Bruce. He was really he's solid. I see him in that he can make a if we get a big hit with injuries. For me, he's above definitely above Jet at the moment. Although I think they will partner at some point in the halves. 80-minute players. I mean, in your forwards, you usually don't have 80 minutes, although your back rowers can be 80 minutes. You look at certain players. Isaiah Yo could play 80 technically. But I think 80 minutes means, mainly having players that can go the distance, if they have to. Ideally for me, forwards should play their minutes. For example, Fish isn't really an 80-minute guy. I don't think that's how he's used. He was never used like that at Penrith. But he's got an 80-minute mentality. If he has to, he can do it. But he's best used if you use him in that two stints. You do a double takeoff, so you have both props starting. So him and Barnett, and they both come off after 25, and they come back on after say 50 in the second half and finish out the rest of the half. They play 50, 55 minutes, something like that. In the ideal world, that'd be great, but it doesn't always happen that way. But I do hope for Webby's sake that he keeps the minutes down for most of our guys. You saw him really pushing it last year. I think he didn't truly trust the depth at that time. He was pushing Barnett and AFB, and they can do it out to 70, but it wasn't ideal. And Barnett, especially, remember the game he went. So he played Origin. I think they won the Origin. He came back and played the same Friday at Canberra, and he was just smashed. But if you have too many minutes in your legs, it can really have a bad impact. So I think it's having an 80. Most of your backs play for 80 minutes usually. Your back rowers sometimes do, but your middle forwards usually don't. I mean, your hooker does, but I think the idea is to have the 80-minute mentality, like play for the whole 80 minutes as a team. But yeah, that's something I'm really into. Kalani get the silky pass on him. He should be put. Yeah, Kalani. I've always liked Kalani. I know it's been a bit tough on him, but I reckon he's really good. Um, yeah, they are old school. That was the old Jeff Wilson put down. That's right. Um, hey, big up Josh, man. Good to see you, brother. Um, my left plays the aerial ping pong over in Melbourne. Yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Oh, fumble ball or aerial ping pong. That's what they call it. How's Tane under the high ball? Yeah, just quickly on that team, Mackie. Me and Ash were talking a little bit about it, and I think he just needs a bit more protection. I think in that second half, that kick that he got, and he did get targeted. I think MGT was out there at that time. I think Leotoa would be a good guy to have him kind of protected in those high balls. I mean, you can't be flat-footed even with someone his size. I think probably watching someone like Brian Tortle, a smaller guy, but how he approaches his running is really important. You can't be flat-footed as a small guy because you will get outleaped. But if he has a bit more protection, say in Leotoa as well, I think that will help. So that's my view. Yeah, Wilson. That's right. That's right. I think he will take it with both hands, Tay. Um, he definitely was. Whereas forever can't wait flying out on the team plane to V. Are you, man? That is awesome, bro. Um, yeah, man. Let us know how you're going. Would be cool. We're gonna have post match show. So if you guys are out there, feel free to jump on. We'll send the link out if you want to come and jump on and share what it's been and how your experience is going. Or if you want to share a little vlog on our page or with other members, that would be cool too, man. That is going to be awesome, man. Enjoy it as Jazz says here, man. Yeah, enjoy, bro. That's going to be cool. Teammate, our forward depth is one of the best. Would hope Webster rotates some of the forwards throughout the season. Yeah, it's so important for Webby to balance the squad out, use the squad, and trust the squad. Dimitrik, you think about these five guys. I think it's Dimitrik, Leka, Laban, Ale, and Bunty is the kind of fifth man. But those four at least need to trust them, need to believe in them, that they can hold their spots. And I think this is, the third year for many of them. I expect them to be up to it. I expect that they have developed and are ready. And yes, you will have errors and you will have some struggle with young players, but they have to go through it. So that's my thought process anyway. But I wonder I think we were one of the most experienced teams last year in terms of old teams, right? I wonder if we're a bit younger now, if we're adding in the juniors coming through. That's something to think about as well. That would be awesome. Bit of a live stream, bro, from the plane. Show us all the boys, man. Now that's going to be cool, man. That's cool that you're going with the team. Thanks again, Jazz. Yeah, guys, hit that like and subscribe if this is your thing. If you're new here, guys, if you're checking in, if you're enjoying it, please hit that subscribe. It's great to have as many subscribers as we possibly can. Laban was great. Yeah, I didn't see the whole game, but I saw the highlights. Laban is one that, yeah, he's going to develop and his game. I like Laban. I think he should get an opportunity in the back row this year. Yeah, I'm happy for him that he got that experience with the Māoris. Yeah, Integrite, they had good experience last year. What were good ideal roles for Interchange B considering potential injuries? Look, the big one always, and has been a big talking point piece, is Wade Egan. The whole so I'm going into my third year of content. So for the last 2 years at least, and going to the third year, he's always had. We always have had to have injury cover for him. There's some games we have had where we haven't had another hooker on the bench, but we've had a ton of games where Wade has been injured with HIAs, and um, it's impacted not only him but the squad at times. But I think, and I'm just thinking that Sam Healy and how they've used him, he's obviously, I feel he stepped above Lusick. You could probably have him on the bench, but again, um, I like sometimes to have a four-man forward bench. So that would be like a Dylan Walker, um, could be a Vaimonga, a Leka Halasima, and a Ale. So just say those four names, for example. But when you need someone to cover Egan, Sam Healy's probably the best guy to have on the field. We've had a ton of games where we've only used three men on the bench. And now in saying that, Webby usually uses a three-man forward rotation. So he doesn't always. From what I've experienced with Webby, he doesn't always go for four forwards on the bench. Doesn't feel he probably needs it. But I like that bigger size type thing. Only if Egan can last it. So Egan is a bit more prone to HIAs, and he can play 80 minutes. There's no issue about that. But if it was to be that they are going to be cautious again, I think Sam Healy is the guy still to have on their bench. And then it'll be let's just say that it is Sam Healy. So you got Dylan Walker, Sam Healy. I'll go with a Laban as a back row option, and then maybe a Vaimonga. But there's also Leka Halasima. There's a few options there. Tom Ale, they're all going to be fighting for spots. But when injuries come in, it always changes up. Dominic, yeah, man, that's a good call. That's a good shout too. Bruce, yeah, we got some good quality talent. I was a bit upset about Zion, but when you actually look at it and add it up, we've kept four really good forwards with potential. We have to get some boys to shout at Wires Up TV. Yeah, and all of the other creators as well. That'd be cool. I wonder if the boys know about us. But man, Warriors forever. Enjoy that, bro. Yeah, Bruce, he does. He really does. I think Healy's been great. He was one other standout for me over the two games. Got a good work rate too. I think he needs more time just to gel with all the players and where to put the ball in terms of the halves and it. But his work rate looks great. I think we got a buy there. I think we got one past the Sharks, to be fair. T-Mackey saying one player I think is out is Lusick. I wonder if a trade could be done with another club where they get Lusick. Again, man, I'll be open to trades. Yeah, I definitely feel that Lusick is on a lower level, but I mean, he is a good option to keep around. Like we never know with injuries when they hit. I mean, Paulie Roach, because Paulie got released obviously because I think Healy came in and they're going to keep Lusick. But Lusick's a good one to have if you ever get to two hookers down. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's a good shout too. Walker, Healy, Vaimonga, and Halasima for Vegas. Yeah, that's another option. I like that lineup too. And to be honest, yep, Healy can piece. He really can. He's physical too. When you look at his size, he's just as tall as a lot of the other guys. So, yeah, and there's a lot of good elements from all of our players. And Laban's starting to show some real strong points. Okay, guys, so we've covered a few things. Let's just maybe talk quickly about who didn't look ready or who's not quite there. I just think on the obvious point, Jet Cleary is I know a lot of people talked about when they heard the name Cleary and Jet, it was like, oh, he's going to be the starting halves with Metcalf. I think we can all attest and know that Jet is going to be in either New South Wales Cup or Jersey Flag. I think he'll turn into a good talent. His trajectory obviously isn't going to be like Nathan's, but I think this is a good call from Ivan to send his son over to get his own name, develop his own. I mean, it's a similar system to Penrith that's familiar. He knows Luke Hansen. There's a few of the other boys from Penrith as well. The Ami Tuanai, I think it was, that played last week. So there's other boys that have been recruited over. So hopefully they're all living together and hanging out. But you can tell Jet. He's. I saw him on the sideline, and he's so eager to play. You know, he's like a little kid in the candy shop. You know, he's talking to everyone, dapping everyone up. You know, he's pumped. But you know, he's just young and he needs to develop. But I think he's going to go well. Yeah, teammates probably Kossi's the only one. And again, look, I'm a big fan of Koss. I have been. I like. I know people are moving into a different mold of winger. Koss is definitely of that older, bigger body vein, and I do like Koss in terms of some of his defensive reads. I think he's quite solid. It's just the howlers and consistency. You know, when you get into this spot, it's a big mental thing. But still love Koss, and I just want him to do well. But yeah, it looks as though he hasn't progressed in terms of his progression from an individual player. But yeah, so that's kind of my thought. And I agree, year or two of development for the brother Jet. Jazzy saying, well, I feel with Egan's history of injuries, we need to keep Lussick, but that's just me. Yeah, and again, if Lussick's willing to stay there, let's say you both get injured, Healy and Clear Egan, Lussick's a nice one to have on the bench. I mean, let's not kid ourselves too. Lussick was part of a lot of wins and being consistent, and physically he's strong too. He just hasn't had that dynamic running game. But for what he is, he's a good player. That's good piece. Yeah, you gotta learn the difference between Barnett and Hansen. But I thought it was good they rested Barney. I thought that was really good. You know, he's had a lot of footy, and they're going to hit the road soon. Actually, Warriors forever. If you are in there still, brother, when are you guys leaving? Because the boys will be leaving with you, and you need a bit of probably a week to acclimatize, I'd imagine, to the weather and that. Yeah, yeah. Setu, I didn't actually see Setu. I saw Nathaniel. It was great seeing Nathaniel Roach playing, and it's great for Nathaniel that he still loves the game, even despite all of his injuries and his potential. So happy for him that he's playing the game he loves, and I'm hoping he's doing well. But I didn't really notice Setu. Did he play in the first or second half? Or I can't remember. Maybe he looks so different. Yeah, Costa with that aggro. I totally agree about that. Who's going to look to? I mean, the guys like the Pussy Colors and Yedemirs and all those guys, they'll still be in cup or flag, so they've got a long time to go. Yeah, Cossie's the only one that kind of stands out, but I'm hoping, from what that he can find a vein of form. Bunty looks solid again, but I don't want to read too much into that. Wait till we get to season proper. Yeah, Lussick's probably the only one at the moment. If there's anyone else, guys, yeah. Oh, was he with the headgear? I think maybe. Yeah. Good shot. Good shout there, Tay. I agree. Jay's saying many might not agree, but fitness alone, Freddie could pump out 80 minutes easier than Egan from what I've seen. Oh, that's a good shout, Jazz. Freddie actually brings good value in my opinion. Unfortunately, Webby took his kicking license. Webby's taken a lot of people's kicking license. That is a genuine call. I don't think Jazz is far off from that. If you remember, Lussick was quite consistent, playing 80 and being very physical. But Egan's just that master, in terms of how we really want to play. He's so important to everything we do. So, okay, guys. So that's who didn't look ready. Let's just go over this thing. I want to hear everyone's opinion of this. The halves conundrum. I thought adding Tomaide in was a different to how they would play with CNK in many ways. If you saw Tomaide kind of set up as another 5/8 or half out the back on the left hand side, he got a lot of kind of he got similar looks to what obviously CNK does on the right side. But it was nice to see a bit of variety where he is involved in a different position. I think he kind of suited that. I think he was when I was watching, he was very vocal. He was right in and around the action of what they wanted to do. So, um, although I don't believe they'll go with Tamaide yet as the fullback, I think it's something to talk about. I think having a third option, a very halves-minded player. I gave Ash an example last night. If you remember the game against Cronulla, where on the fifth tackle, Chance got the ball and he put in a little grubber, and that grubber went dead, and they got a 7 tackle set. I was thinking, well, in that situation, what if you had a Tamaide there who can alleviate a bit more pressure off of Metcalf? Let's say Metcalf dies with the ball on the fifth tackle, fourth tackle. Then that means Tamaide takes that grubber kick on the fifth, and you get a repeat set. That's the type of mentality I was thinking of. Like, what's the difference between CNK and Tamaide? It's probably in an attacking set. You have another option with Tamaide there, even a kicking option, a little grubber option, as opposed you don't get that kicking option from CNK. But with the benefit of CNK, you get the yardage, the running style, the extra efforts, the defensive work. But I actually think Tamaide did a good job defensively setting up on the goal line. I think he's quite calm and he's quite vocal. I mean, he had that run with the Broncos. If anything, guys, and I'm not saying vouching for Tamaide as the starting fullback, I still think it's CNK, but at least it gives you an option to think about having a trinity of halves and changing up the game style a little bit more. Where when you see shapes, traditionally, you know if it's going to be CNK on the out the back, you know you can jam him or you can put pressure. Whereas with Tamaide, it gives you an option. What is he going to do? Is he going to kick? Is he going to put a grubber in? You know, what it gives a bit more doubt in my opinion, but it's just something I observed from that him going to fullback. Um, just quickly on Dom saying, yeah, he played that way. The Broncos at fullback rather have him at FB than as a half. It's a great shout, Dom. I thought TM Mehmet at fullback was to allow us people to get the reps on the wing, but it does make sense if you want another playmaker on the field. Yeah, and not to say there isn't going to be enough from the current halves, or say if they go with Metcalf and CHT, but it just gives you another difference of look, or gives you another option. Yeah, bang on, Tay. T Mackey, yeah, plus Tane is better and has more experience on the wing than TMM. Yeah, Tane is definitely more of a runner, isn't he? Tuopiki is ideal as a Trinity player. Yeah, that could be a good shout too. That's actually, if you think about Tuopiki, if he was to play at fullback, you'd want to see him do a bit of that too, jumping in, kicking, being involved. Yeah, and Timeki, the kicking game for Tamani is sneaky elite. He's also a bit of communicating than our halves. Yeah, you can hear him. You could really hear him on the pitch directing things around. Piece. No, so when you swap around players that are on your field, does that count as interchange? No, if they're swapping within on the field, that's fine. It's only when you swap with someone from the outside. So when you're swapping someone out and they come in, that's when it's an interchange. So yeah, say if Tamaide and Tane, say Tane was playing fullback, but they wanted to push Tane mid game into full high 5/8. then Tamate goes to fullback. That's not considered an interchange. That's a positional change on the field. But anyway, guys, that's something to think about moving forward. Starting 4-pack, just quickly, guys. We're going to go for another 9 or so, 10 minutes, guys. We'll try to do an hour. I know we're kind of short on time, but I think we've discussed a lot of this anyway. But starting 4-pack, what I'm still obviously think it's JFH, Barney, Egan. I think Catewell will go well this year. I had a little chat with Ash as well, and we thought Catewell would be consistent this year. He's quite consistent at what he does. I think that's important. I have always vouched for a more dynamic back rower that can break through the line and offload, but it's not really our game anymore at the Warriors. But I always love a back rower that can power through a line and offload. But I kind of agree with Mackie here saying JFH, Egan Barnett, Catewell, New Cordy. Yeah, New Cordy looked pretty good. I think, the understudies like a Laban and Lecker will be on his toes, nipping at his heels if he slips up. We know New Cordy can have he had a bad run of games towards the end of last season. But he's looking quite, from what I saw, he's looking quite fit and in shape. Starting to work a good little combo with Metcalf. There was those 2 tries for Tane. He was very involved with his line running. So those are some things to think about. But yeah, I agree with that. And Clark definitely to start. That's definitely where I'm at too. Whereas for just curious, if we get Hazelton immediately, which I'm sure we can afford, does he start? Oh, that's a great question. I would love him to be a bench prop. He could be that first prop off the bench, in my opinion. He'd probably push one of the younger guys out, but that would be an elite. And actually, if you got an injury, he pretty much starts, in my opinion. Keep the likes up, people. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, everyone. 57 in here. Let's hit that 50 marker. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, that's the kind of rounds. The agencies. Hey, let's go to New Zealand for a little tiki tour. Let's try and pump up your value 100K. Starting forwards, for me, piece would be Barnett, Fisher Harris, Egan. Then my back row would be Catewell, New Cordy at the moment, and Clark. Let's go. Clark's gonna be awesome, Tay. Let's just go quickly to starting bench. I think we talked a little bit about that. Definitely Dylan Walker for me. And then it's probably I like the idea of Vaimaunga, Leka, and Healy. That kind of feels quite balanced. I think we will carry Healy on the bench, just in case for Egan's sake. And what else? Yeah, I think that's how we will go pretty much. Any other thoughts? Just chuck that in the chat. So we covered that. RTS and Tane as wingers. Just quickly, RTS for me holds that left wing spot. I think Tane holds the right wing spot. I read on Twitter Michael Burgess, who is the journalist for New Zealand Herald, I believe, spoke with Webby, and Webby said that it was a battle between Kossi and Tane on who goes in that wing. Now, for me, I think it is Tane. The fact that Koss is still being pushed and by Webby is interesting, but I think it's definitely Tane from what he's done. That's where I'd go. I think RTS keeps that left wing spot for the season. It's a straight swap with Montoya. And that's where I think it will go. But I think Tane holds that spot till Dallin gets back, in my opinion. Vegas is going to be a fast track, so Vaimaunga Leka makes sense over Bunty Ale. Yeah, that's a good point, Timeki. Is it AstroTurf or is it natural grass? I know a lot of these stadiums they have some different turf types, so that'd be interesting to look at. Cossie first Taters code for Tater. I hope so. I hope Webby's not going to the Webby's playing mind games with everyone at the moment. We spoke Hazleton. That's definitely we're all done there. I just wanted to talk NRLW games in Hamilton. That's going to be awesome. Again, like I said, we had a great day out yesterday. Sorry, on Saturday, and my mate Jim Bob, we enjoyed ourselves, and it's great to have rugby league in Hamilton, and the crowd was amazing. So to get the NRLW games, I mean, obviously I'll be going up to Auckland a few times this year to do to watch get live games at Mount Smart. That's always awesome. But to have it at FMG, which is actually a really good stadium. I mean, for those that haven't been to FMG, come out and watch a game here. It's not actually that bad. You're right on the action, pretty much. I feel, and but yeah, to get 3 NRLW games, definitely going to go to those. So that's going to be awesome to do. I think that's all my talking points, guys. Please, we're going to go for another 3 and a bit minutes. If you got any more questions in the chat, now remember we're going to have All You Can Eat tomorrow night with Ash. So save some of those questions up if you do. Also, guys, we're going to talk. We're going to start our junior development show. Me and Ash. That will be a pre-recorded thing, so we won't talk about it in All You Can Eat, but there'll be content for later in the week. So we'll talk about the SG ball game against the Bulldogs, which I saw, which was awesome too. A shame the SG ball boys lost the third straight game. The talent level they're coming up against is really good at that level. So I understand it's quite difficult, but we had some great moments, some good tries. The halves are looking good, all those things. But yeah, we'll break some of that down for you guys. Thanks, Mickey. Says Vegas is natural grass. That's great to know. Yeah, I really do. I really enjoyed FMG. Mount Smart's always great. The vibe I get at Mount Smart, that rugby league connection, you really feel it at Mount Smart. But FMG, it's a great ground in general, I felt. Okay, guys. If you got any more cordial, chuck that in. Thank you, Tahi. And as I say, guys, jumping on the Super Coach, Ash has got his shows as well, and Tahi's big under that. So if you're part of Tahi's team, no doubt watch Ash's shows, get tips off Tahi as well. It's my first year, so I'm gonna really be trying to do my best, but just something fun to do. Also, Mr. Toilet Inspector, don't forget to your request. I'll check my phone soon and let you into our chat. But yeah, guys, feel free to join if that's something you want to do. Memberships. Otherwise, just like and subscribe. Having 58 of you guys in here, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Just quickly as well, I know I've spoken with bigger bro. Thank you, Dom. See you around, brother, for sure. Team Mackie, just quickly, do you think the teams that got beaten 50 over the weekend are already finished? It's hard to tell. Like I say, it was a great day out against Melbourne, but that was this BC grade team. It's one of those things. I hyped up our game against the Dolphins last year, and look what happened to our season. I just think take a bit cooler heads. But what I love about it, you can tell they've had a better preseason. I think this year the boys look in shape, and the juniors look a lot sharper from our perspective. But for those other teams, yeah, kind of. All good, Inspector. It's no problem, man. But it's there anyway if you wanted to join in. But anyway, we'll jump in the chat. We'll let you in, my man. But guys, yeah. So show with Ash tomorrow. All You Can Eat will be here 8:00. Then we've got the pre-recorded content for the the juniors. Then we've got a show. I think I'm doing a show with Fanatics as well on Thursday, which is the preseason show. So yeah, jump in on that, guys. And if you haven't subscribed to Fanatics, go do so. Yeah, that's really cool from Cooper Cronk. Again, I'll just take everything with a grain of salt. Cool, my man. Absolutely awesome. Peace, great to see you, and good that you're learning the game, and you're enjoying your time and hopefully we answered as many questions as we can. But yeah, guys, don't miss those shows coming up. We're going to build into our content soon. We will have the watch along as well of the game in Vegas. So enjoy the week off. Watch the other teams this weekend, and then we'll build into the season next week. And then for all of our members, we're going to add in some more layers as well. But anyway, guys, thanks for your time. Thank you, Bruce, for that $10, man. That is appreciate that. It is our year. It always will be our year. And big up to Toilet Man. We appreciate you joining. Thank you to you both. But we'll catch you tomorrow night, guys. Enjoy your time. See you here at 8 p.m. New Zealand time with Ash for All You Can Eat. But stay safe. Ka kite. Pomari.